Hi everyone. So today I'm going to tell you about the trip that I took with my family. When my family comes, we do a lot of touring. So the first few pictures are from we stopped first at Portage Lake and Portage Glacier. There was a lot of waterfalls because it was early in the summer, and so there was still a lot of snowpack up on the mountains. And the waterfalls were bigger than I've ever seen them, and they pulled the boat right up next to some of them. It was pretty cool. We were able to get pictures. It was so close that the boat was actually bumping into the side of the rocks. Fortunately, the boats are made to do that, I guess. But and then you make your way around, and we went to Portage Glacier, and that's why it's fun to see. I'm amazed at how much that has receded over the years, just since I've been in Alaska. But it's fun to go see that. From there, we went to Whittier, and Whittier, you need to go through a train tunnel to get into Whittier because it's through the mountain. And this is actually one of our favorite places to take family when they come because it's something that you don't get to do. So this tunnel is the longest tunnel that I believe it's the longest tunnel in North America. It's 2.5 miles long. And it's a train tunnel that they've converted so the trains run through here. And you have to stop for them sometimes. Well, you don't stop inside the tunnel, but you have to. They wait for the trains to come through, and then they air it out, and then they let the traffic through. And the traffic goes through on the half hours. So we're going to Whittier here, and we went on the half hour mark, and then coming out of Whittier, you go on the hour mark, and it's kind of fun to go and see. This is sped up in this video, because it's about a 6.5 or 7 minute drive through there. If you notice on the left, right about there, there are safe houses. There's 8 safe houses as you go through, and those are to get off if you have car troubles or things like that, or I think if a train comes. It used to be that the trains weren't quite as scheduled, and so sometimes I guess people got caught in there. I don't know. But anyway, there's safe houses, and it's fun to drive through here. You can see on the roof there's a lot of, I guess, roofing. I don't know what it is, but it keeps the water off the road. It used to get really wet in there, as the inside of a mountain might, and the road would get kind of slick. But this is a fun little touristy place to take people. Whittier is a beautiful little town to begin with, but the tunnel makes it extra fun to take people. So it's quite a long tunnel, as you can see. And this is sped up, I think, 200% maybe. So one more safe house. It's rather bumpy through there, as you can see. I shouldn't say bumpy, but with the tracks, it's hard to stay on one side or the other of the tracks. And so there's so I guess it makes it a little bit bumpy, but not really bumpy, I guess. Just not smooth and even. Just before we went in, a train did come out. And then when we left, a train came in just before we were leaving Whittier and going out. Another safe house. I wasn't counting these. The speed limit is 25. You have to have your lights on the whole way through. And they space the cars. If you notice at the very beginning, there's a stoplight. They want the cars spaced a specific distance. I don't remember what the seconds between each car they want, but for whatever reason. And they let the tour buses go through before us this time. Oftentimes they let the passenger cars go first. And then I think the boats and things go last, but people have lots of boats. They bring their boats down to Whittier and they go through this tunnel, so it's big enough for that kind of stuff. Before they allowed cars to go through, they loaded the cars and the boats on the train and took them into Whittier, or out of, depending on the season. So this is kind of nice to have the tunnel open for people to be able to do that now, rather than have to load things on the train. Almost to the end. There's the light at the end of the tunnel. And then when you come out, it's kind of one lane, and you pop out, and it gives you directions on which direction to go. And there's Whittier. Sometimes it's cool to see how it's rainy on one side and blue on the other. Whittier, we love to go down to the docks and look at the boats. We think that's kind of a lot of fun. This is the old military barracks. You're not allowed in there, but it's kind of cool to see. And then we have a little spot we like to go to that's salmon come up in this area really thick in the fall. Well, whenever they're running throughout the summer and in the fall. Today there was no salmon running, but it's still beautiful to go down and see. After Whittier, we went to the Alaska Wildlife Conservation Center, and we saw all sorts of animals. As you can see, moose and elk and caribou, bear, bison. This is a bear here, just, I don't know, he's playing with a stick of some kind. I don't know what he's doing, but he was pretty active. It's fun to see him out. Sometimes they're just sleeping. But he was having a good time. And that was a black bear, and then there was a brown bear that we saw. Sometimes the brown bears are hard to see. Sometimes the black bears aren't where you can see them either, but this one was right up there along the fence. So that's kind of fun. Elk or deer, I can't remember. That was bison, and that was a little baby there on the right of that one. It was cute. Fox, and then coyote, and porcupine. And there's a wolf. There's also bald eagles and things. Caribou. This was our Airbnb for the night. This is down in Kenai. We promptly locked ourselves out, but found a window to get back in. This was the view from the front yard. It was beautiful. Kind of chilly, lots of wind, but... And then this was down in Kenai. We went to a beach. We were looking for whales. My mom wanted to see whales, and so this is where we went for our attempt to see whales. We didn't find any whales, but we did find lots of treasures along the beach that we enjoyed picking up. It was fun to get out on the beach and see the sand. This was a little bridge there in Kenai as well, right there at the same beach. And then we went from Kenai back towards Anchorage to Alyeska. This is in Girdwood. This was a tram ride, the tram ride from the hotel up to the tram station. We enjoy bringing our family to this. It's not super cheap, but it's not super expensive. There's a little cafe at the top we ate dinner at, and the tram ride takes about 4 or 4.5 minutes to get up. And then there's beautiful views from the top. This particular day it was beautiful earlier in the day, but when we got up to the top it was starting to get cloudy. And then we ate, went to the gift shop. You can see the tide is way out there. That's the Cook Inlet, out farther out there. And then when we were getting ready to leave, it had started to rain. So it was kind of a chilly, blustery day. This is the ride down. The ride takes, like I said, 4.5 minutes, and this is sped up a little bit so that it's not taking so long, but you can see that it was raining. But it's beautiful views when you get up there because you can see everything around. You can see the inlet, you can see Girdwood. It's just a fun little, I guess, side trip if you're going through or going down the Seward Highway, going past Girdwood if you've got time. It doesn't take very long. I think they run every 15 minutes up and down. And the cars go together. So here's the other car coming up as we're going down. We did, down around those little lakes that you see down at the bottom of the screen, see a moose with a calf. That was kind of fun. Apparently she had just had the calf, and so it was a brand new baby calf that we were looking at, but we were so high it was kind of hard to see, but it's fun to see that kind of stuff. And I thought maybe I'd gotten it on video, but once I watched it, I realized I hadn't looked far enough down. The tram ride, my mom and a couple people got sick, a little bit motion sick, but they found that if they sat down on the benches that they didn't get sick going back down. So if you get motion sick, that might be something to consider. It's fun to go in and explore the hotel as well. My husband worked on the tram building and the hotel, so we like to go in there and show people around a little bit. Some some of the things that he did. I'll show you here in just a second. The ceiling that he worked on is kind of cool. Years and years and years ago, it could be a whole different ceiling. I have no idea now, but you know, remodeling and whatever, but we like to go and we like to look around because it's a beautiful hotel. So there's a ceiling, there's northern lights and things, some fun things to look at in there. And then we stopped at Beluga Point at the very end. It was a little bit chilly, but it is what it is. Thanks for watching.